So, the Oklahoma City Thunder. A lot of people have been asking the question of, should they rebuild? Should they trade Westbrook and build around PG? Should they build around PG but cancel out Westbrook a little bit? Or should they move Westbrook to the shooting guard? Others think they need to address a lot of shooting in the offseason. A lot of people think they need to get rid of some of the veterans. I'm here to talk about that a little bit. So the first thing I want to touch on is Russell Westbrook. So from this season, Westbrook has averaged a third straight triple-double in the whole 3 years. His averages are basically 22.9 points per game, 11.1 rebounds, 10.7 assists. Just looking at the numbers, you would think that Westbrook was the point guard. I mean, of course, that belongs to Chris Paul, but that is not the case. So Westbrook's field goal percentage is 42%. That's how much he shot in the regular season. That is atrocious, especially when you're taking 20 field goal attempts per game. That's sad. That's a lot of shots, by the way. On top of that, he's shooting 29% from the three-point line while attempting 5 three-pointers a game. That cannot happen. I think in the offseason, Westbrook needs to address more of his shooting. I think he needs to work on his shooting. Granted, I will give him credit. Every season, he comes back better at something. This time, he just needs to be better at shooting. That's all. Now, we could argue that Westbrook is not your traditional point guard as well. The problem with the Thunder is they kind of let him go berserk in the regular season, and then when the postseason rolls around, he kind of still thinks that he can do what he wants, and that's just not the case. It turns from a full court set to a whole half court set, so you can't really allow Westbrook to just go berserk like that. You have to let him flow within the system, play within the offense, and I think you would more than likely run the ball through PG's hands, set up more plays for him, let Westbrook be the initiator and creator while Paul George gets ready to shoot. I think that would have been the best bet for them, but granted that Westbrook still hasn't learned how to play traditional point guard duties. That is just not the case. On top of that, you have to think that the Thunder would like to address a whole lot of shooting. On top of that, they fell off on defense. I think that is more the reason why. Of course, they were missing Andre Roberson, who I think is more so of a 3 than a 2. I mean, the guy's career average of scoring is like 4 points a game. That is terrible, especially for how long he's been in the league, at least 5 to 6 years now. See, the thing with Roberson is he can't shoot to save his life. He is not going to give you a lot of offense to work with. So the thing is, I think you slide him to the 3 position. Yes, of course, I know you guys are going to say we have PG right there, but the thing I'm thinking is PG is listed as a small forward / power forward because he's like 6'8", 6'9". The thing is, PG plays defense. Of course, him and Roberson both play defense. I think they could be a nightmare on the defensive end for the 3 and 4 spot. Of course, Paul George is more of a offensive-minded guy. So the thing is, I think he would cause a lot of mismatches on slower power forwards. The only thing he would have to do is kind of bulk up a little bit more, get more muscle, and get more experience of going against power forwards. But nowadays your power forward is usually typically your stretch forward, and I think that PG can do some things on the defensive end to give them guys problems. Now we can address the shooting on this team. Of course, if we look at the shooting guards that the Thunder have, of course they have Amadou Diallo, the athletic freak of nature from Kentucky, coming out of New York. I like Diallo a lot. The thing is, Diallo hasn't really put it all together, and you can tell, and he only played 37 games this season, of course, but his averages were not the best. But the thing is, in Kentucky, he was averaging 10 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, and 1.2 assists. Now, if I'm looking at the numbers from him at Kentucky, the problem is he doesn't shoot at all either. On his three-point percentage, he shot 33% while attempting 2.1 attempts per game. That right there kind of shows me that he's a willing shooter, not really what you want to look for. I think Diallo's best case scenario is being a cutter to the rim. He's more athletic than given. Of course, you guys know he won a slam dunk contest, but the guy's very athletic. But I don't think shooting is really his call. But granted, I do think that he needs more minutes to improve on his game because he did show flashes in the season. I don't think that Oklahoma really gives these guys enough burn, especially like when they had Alex Abrines. I don't know why they got rid of the guy. The guy was lights out from the three-point line. But on top of that, then you have Terrence Ferguson, who he's really come along a little bit, but he's still not all the way there at all either. So in this season with the Thunder, he shot 57% on 2-point field goals, while taking 1.4 attempts. That's only pretty much one shot per game, actually. For his overall field goal percentage, he's shooting 42%. On top of that, he's shooting 35% from the three on 3 attempts a game. That shows me that he's a capable shooter. And coming out of high school, going into the college season, Ferguson was very, very good at shooting. The Matt Doan's All-American game, he kind of erupted for like 8 threes, which was kind of beyond crazy. The guy can actually shoot lights out. I just don't think he's really acquainted to the offense and the things that are going on the court. And I don't think they're really comfortable with him taking that many shots yet, just given because it's only going on his 3rd year. I think they will acclimate him in more as the season goes along. But right now they have a lot of shooting guards that don't really offer a lot of shooting, and that's really the problem right here. But, I mean, other than that, you have the draft coming up. And in my eyes, I think the best fit for them, it may be pushing it, but I think they should go get another guy from the draft. And if I had to pick for that guy, that probably would be Tyler Hero out of Kentucky, the boy wonder from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, Tyler Hero is very, very skilled for a guy that is 6'5". He's 195 pounds. He averaged 14 points per game at Kentucky with 4.5 rebounds and 2.5 assists. The thing about Tyler Hero is his game mimics Devin Booker a little so much that it's kind of crazy. I mean, he can put the ball on the floor. He can make things happen. He can cut to the rim. He can go off the bounce, go off the dribble. He can spot up for threes. I think he would fit this Oklahoma system very, very well. And coming off his freshman season at Kentucky, his field goal percentage was 46.2, and he averaged 10.9 attempts, basically 11. And that right there shows me that he is a very good shooter already, because 11 shots a game and he's still averaging 46%. That's a lot. On his 3-point percentage, of course, he's made 35% of his threes on 4.6 attempts. And that right there shows me that he's a very good 3-point shooter coming in out of college. I think he helps this Oklahoma team out a lot. He probably would come off the bench, but as of right now, if they were to draft him and he rolled in, I think he would be the best option for you at shooting guard. I wouldn't mind letting him start for a minute just to see if he can get acclimated, because he is a willing learner. He's aggressive. He can be aggressive. The thing is, if you're going to do that, that's when I say you move probably Andre Roberson to the 3 and PG at the 4 to solve that issue. Of course, you still have Steven Adams at the 5. I think that will give you the most effective defensive lineup along with shooting, because you have PG and Tyler Hero, and hopefully a Westbrook can improve his shooting. I think you have that to work with. Off the bench, I want to say you would probably do Dennis Schroeder as the backup 1. Maybe you make Amadou Diallo as the backup 2 just to give him some burn, and probably put Terrence Ferguson at the 3 backup. And then you just go with like Jeremy Grant at the power forward position, and probably like, I don't know, Nerlens Noel if those guys want to hold on to him and his contract. But no, I say this because they are in a very tight position. I don't know if you go through another season without shooting. I don't understand how they ran through at least 2 to 3 seasons without shooting at all. But here's the thing. You just can't go into that season like that. So, these guys are kind of stuck with Westbrook's contract. PG's locked into 2 more years of his deal. So, kind of have to optimize that time and see what you can get out of everybody. Go Blue.